I knew I was sick or evil or both. Now I believe I was sick. I feel so bad for what I did to those poor families, and I understand their rightful hate. No matter what I did, I could not undo the terrible harm I have caused.
Never, Jeffrey! Jeffrey! I hate you! I hate you! This is out of control!
By day, he was a softly spoken chocolate factory worker, but by night, he was a monster from hell who tortured young men and ate them. Jeffrey Dahmer shocked the world with his sickening cannibal murder spree. And now, more than 30 years later, a new Netflix series on his crimes is sending chills up people's spines again.
You been drinking tonight?
Oh, I just had a couple beers.
What's in the garbage bags?
They're the clippings from the yard.
You're 18, is that right? You got your whole life ahead of you. And I'm not gonna fuck that up by arresting you tonight, okay?
But what made this boy become a cold-blooded serial killer? Mail Online takes a look at what turned Dahmer into one of the most evil men in history. To the outside world, Dahmer was a shy, bespectacled man with fair hair and blue eyes. He worked at Ambrosia Chocolate Factory in Milwaukee and never put a foot wrong. Neighbors said he paid his rent on time and was such an ordinary guy who enjoyed a beer.
What was it like? Here's the super scary part. He seemed perfectly normal.
But this ordinary guy was hiding a dark secret that no one was prepared for. And long before he confessed to killing and dismembering his 17 male victims, there were ugly signs something was not quite right with him. Dahmer grew up in Ohio, and his parents divorced when he was a teenager. His father, Lionel, was a chemist, and his mother, Joyce, was a teletype machine instructor. Sources have said mixed things on his childhood. Some say he was deprived of attention because of his mother's mental health issues, and others say he was doted on. But one classmate recalled him as being generally one weird dude. Another described him as a lost and troubled soul who was sexually abused by another boy when he was aged 8. In this school yearbook picture, Dahmer can be seen eerily staring into the distance as the other students smile for the photographer. He achieved average grades, and a guidance counselor said he was a good average American. But weeks after graduating, the then 18-year-old carried out his first murder. It was also around the same time his parents were getting divorced. The breakup was traumatic for him, a classmate said. But during his trial, Dahmer did not blame his upbringing for the dark path he went down, instead admitting there is no one to blame but myself.
I take all the blame for what I did. I hurt many people. I've hurt my mother and father and stepmother. I love them all so very much. I hope that they will find the same peace I am looking for.
Dahmer is not known to have had any serious romances. He did take a girl to prom, but later admitted to her he was gay and left to go and meet a boyfriend. One friend said Dahmer told him he didn't seem to fit in anywhere, and he blamed this on his sexuality. They said, quote, he hated himself and he hated gays. Dahmer was fascinated with dead animals and bones growing up. He started drinking alcohol as a teenager and became a recluse. In between carrying out some of his murders, Dahmer was convicted of indecent exposure. He was also charged with molesting a 13-year-old boy who he had lured to his flat and offered $50 supposed nude.
They went back to his grandmother's place and had sex, and put sleeping pills in his drink. He states when the guy fell asleep, he strangled him with his hands and took the body down the basement by the drain and used a knife to dismember him and a sledgehammer to break up the bones.
Dahmer confessed to killing 17 men between 1978 and 1991. The remains of 11 decapitated men were found in his apartment. He told journalist Nancy Glass he ate his victims because he wanted them to be a part of him. She added he was so desperate, so desperately lonely, so ashamed of being gay. Police found severed heads in his fridge, as well as dismembered limbs and blood-drenched saws and hammers.
Hello, this is Glenda Cleveland. Can you send an officer to the Oxford Apartments? Somebody is either being hurt or killed.
Neighbors recalled hearing screams in the night, sobbing pleas for mercy, and the whine of an electric saw. When they confronted him over the smell coming from his flat, he didn't show any signs of panic and always had an excuse, saying it was a broken fish tank or a freezer.
What did it appear to you he was doing with his head? What was he trying to do?
Like he was listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point.
Tracy Edwards was the victim who finally brought an end to Dahmer's revolting murder spree. After escaping Dahmer's clutches and alerting police, he said it had been like coming face to face with Satan.
1 minute he's like nice, then he was telling he didn't want people to leave him or abandon him. A bizarre individual, someone that was very confused.
I knew I was sick or evil or both. Now I believe I was sick.
But just a few years into his prison term, he was murdered by another inmate after they were left unattended in the showers. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this.